We're back. We're back live. Can you all hear me? I think it's good. I think sound is correct. Let's go into. There won't be much product updates. Reality is we are getting everything ready for prod, fixing some stuff. Some UI changes, well, some minor changes that we're making to the UI, or just like making sure things are okay, like adding the multi-step challenges, changing the email templates a bit, some waitlist checks, etc. So today it's going to be a bit more about growth, seed rounds, and then it's also going to be about markets. Growth-wise, as you must have seen, we have gone live with the waitlist giveaway. And I'm going to share transparently on how we do, how we go about things. We have, let me pull up the charts. By the way, I'm doing a plug here, but if you haven't, if you're new here, or like you're watching this on YouTube, because I figured we've got like 20, 30 people watching this on YouTube after the live, do check out the YouTube video we've made about the weekly recap. I think you can find it now on YouTube, but it's also, you can find it on, we're gonna publish it today publicly, but I think now you can even go on YouTube and watch it. We have on X, we've mentioned this 1 million giveaway, which is a giveaway in challenge accounts. So the value of the giveaway is less, and you can make the math, but that's probably in the order of 10K. And we've had 516 new folks come in. And I can tell you, I'm not going to share the how we do this exactly, but I can show you that we have 292 legit signups and 224 farmers. Farmers, I mean, it's hard to tell who's a farmer and who's not exactly with like 100% accuracy, but I can tell you with about 80% accuracy that we've got those numbers. And we'll see how we display those on the website. What you see on the proper Discord now. So I've added this gating system so that every time someone is making a waitlist submission and is not a farmer, now it gets added. We got spammed quite a bit, and to give you a bit of context on how we do this, we have one is we do cluster analysis. If for example the system is recognizing that every 5 seconds I get the same ping with the same email format, I'm gonna tell that this is a farmer. We look at the IP, we look at the country, and there are like other more behavioral analysis that we're making. It's actually something that's quite advanced. The point for this is we don't want, it's a waitlist for the product, which means, and that's something we take very seriously, is if we, and understand, okay, sure, we're doing giveaway. My goal is not to say, hey, we've got like 100,000 people on the waitlist. My goal is to ensure everyone on the waitlist there's at least an odds of 10-20% this person is interested in the product. So that when we send out the emails, these guys actually pay attention. And that's specifically relevant because if we are not doing it, well, first we need a waitlist system as a way to do risk management. We had discussed about the launch strategy of Sona founded, but realistically it's not possible for us to do it, mostly for liquidity. Let's say you've got 1,000 people to sign up on day one and they all get like the highest challenge. Great, we'll make a lot of fees from challenges, but then you need to have the reserve ratio. And that's why we're doing it step by step. And maybe I'll provide some analytics on the waitlist at some point, whether that's about the country or maybe about the anti-farming things that we're putting in place. And then we will organize the waitlist as per, like we'll do some cross analysis on the free trial. Today, product-wise, we're really pushing for the free trial. And as in going live in prod with the free trial. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that yesterday. Because we're streaming every day, I have a hard time recalling what was mentioned yesterday in full transparency. So if I repeat myself, apologies for this. But we have added a new challenge, which is a much smaller challenge, 5K. Yesterday, you probably saw some folks retweeting our challenge announcement. So these are our first partners. We're starting very small, and I think number of partners can be seen on /transparency. On /transparency here on the affiliate program. So this hasn't moved from yesterday. I've signed a few contracts yesterday so that we have to update this stuff. It's probably in the 6 to 8. I'm not exactly sure. On the seed round, so yesterday we shared that there will be changes. There will be changes because we do recognize that we had tremendous momentum initially, and I want to say all of the seed round interest items have been filtered for farmers from the get-go. So there's never been a seed round of like an interest in seed round that's not been vetted for. Not sure how to say it, but we've made sure it was only legitimate interest. And we've had great interest initially, and then that faded quite a bit. And that, to me as an operator, I need to understand what's the best for the business, and what's best overall is to get momentum. And we have great momentum on the institutional side. The reason why I had to cut off the stream yesterday was because we had an important call, and we just got great interest on the institutional side. And I think a lot of people argued that price just might be high, or that there is why are you raising before the product? And so I've decided that instead of doing a big raise, we do a few smaller raises through vaults. And that means instead of raising $1 million with the community that was meant to be live on Thursday, it's going to be the Thursday after. So Thursday, 2nd of April. And we'll do smaller rounds. I have a sync with Connor on this. I want to make sure he's good with this, but it's probably going to be between ballpark numbers 3 to 500K, and it's going to be there will be dynamic prices, which is risky for us because we've already signed a lot of SAFTs. On the institutional side, when you buy into the project, you sign what we call simple agreements for future tokens, and we've signed a lot of them at 17.5. But to me, the reason for raising with the community is people see, okay, it's you guys are extracting money, and the truth is, any businesses that want to exist initially has to get some capital injection, and my view is that it's much better to do it with the community than with VCs. Ideally, you do it with just a team. Like Jeff from Hyperliquid, he funded everything by himself. And on what we'll announce today is that we'll say we'll come in at the reserve price. So if, let's say, the price drops from 17.5 to 10 million during an auction mechanism, I'm basically filling the whole thing for every vote. Pretty much, yeah, I'm guaranteeing that this is selling out with personal funds, essentially. But the truth is, people see, okay, it's extracting value, which, like, realistically it is, because you're taking money from a wallet to, I guess, our wallet. But the flip side of this is, for example, when we raised money with Xborg, with the community, we've generated, in terms of unrealized P&L for the community, I think at the peak was like 25 million or so, which was value that accrued to the community. And obviously some haven't sold and like people just round trip, etc. But it's value that you've created for the community. And I think there are very, like, a lot of benefits to getting people financially involved. Once people are financially involved, they care about what you build. And that's why I'm a big proponent of raising with the community. Obviously, you've got to give them good terms. And that's why, after some thoughts, I've decided, okay, maybe we just need the price to be a bit more dynamic. And that's, we're preparing the article. We understand it's never ideal to say, okay, we wanted to do it on this Thursday, we're doing it the Thursday after. But the reality is, it's the same for roadmap arguments. People tell me, you've got a roadmap. That was the case for Expo. You know, people tell me, hey, you've got a roadmap, why don't you stick to it? The question is just much deeper than this. It's about how you adapt based on the current market environment. And then it's a trade-off between, like, what do you think is fundamentally best for the business? And as an operator, I have to adapt. And if the decision of, like, the specs of the vault were very good 2 to 3 weeks ago, if I don't think they're optimal now, and that the rate of change is counterbalancing the side effects of having something that gets postponed, I'll have to go ahead. The easier decision almost in anything in life is just not to do anything. But and I have to take into account that, okay, market's just very bad, and that means you also have less people that care about what you say, and then your rate of change, perception of change, is reduced. And that's why I'm more comfortable taking this decision now, because it's best, and I also don't want to say, okay, we don't do a community seed round. It fits into the ethos of what we're building, which is this financing layer that we want is owned by the community, or like by the people. And yeah, to the people that say we're extracting value, you know, it's always risky, but in the case of Expo, get really, I guess the community at some point was very happy to be involved, and to be financially committed, and etc. Now we'll jump into the market. There are very interesting stuff to discuss about. We've taken a few trades. On the stream quality, I'm gonna get a new mic. I've actually already paid for it. And in due course, we'll get new, as soon as I'm back in Dubai, we'll get a good camera and stuff like this. We've taken a new trade. Yesterday, what I did say is, yesterday we covered our shorts yesterday. Well, yesterday morning, and we said there is no business for us to do in the mid range, which is true. Like, if you're here, and luckily we're not holding shorts down here. We've covered. If you look at our 100K challenge, we actually took the last 68K. But then what happened is, and the reason why I was comfortable going at range, not nearly at the range highs. We entered at 71. When did we enter? 71, basically, 71K. And everything has to be contextualized. For example, one can say, okay, I'm only entering at range highs, but you want to add context about positioning. So, and I guess that's what time in the markets teaches you. I've been in this market for a long time now, and very, very active. If you give me any fractal, I'll be able to almost that way. And so yesterday we had Taco from Trump. I think Trump said Taco is Trump always chickens out. It's basically Trump wants the market to go up, and as such would take decisions for markets to go up. Also, the Trump admin has debt to refinance, and the yields on treasuries is important to him. Anyway, the point is, yesterday we had a big. So luckily we're not short, or we've covered our short, and the short that we covered at 68. I was actually on a call, and then I saw the price move quite sharply, and then directly after I tried to understand why price moved directly, and then to me was, okay, where are we on the market now? We're close to range highs, and you had a big flush in liquidation. Almost the same order of magnitude as the 6th of Feb. Which means when you have shorts that get liquidated, same thesis as liquidation cascades, the price moved up further than it should have been. Because your marginal buyer in the market in perps are shorts closing and not long closings. So if all the shorts got squeezed, then that means the price is not really where it should be. Which means that this reminds me of one fractal specifically that we saw in March 20. Yeah, this one. This was, if memory serves well, this was the SBR news. This was the SBR move, and this basically got full reversed. Wait, was this the SBR news? Oh, I think that was this one, sorry. The SBR news got announced when you had a bunch of other tokens also get announced. I think if we take ADA, it's going to be much clearer on the charts. If you take ADA, yeah, that's this stuff. So that was beginning of March. You had that big squeeze on the SBL announcement, and then bleed just after. And that to me, in terms of market positioning, looks fairly similar, where you've had a big positioning unwind. If we were at range highs without that positioning unwind, I'd be a lot more bullish. But now, as I tell you, prices were where it shouldn't be at because of that big squeeze. And so that's why I think, like on Telegram, when I said there's a big short opportunity, when I say it's a big short opportunity, I'm like, it's not I'm necessarily bearish on the price going down. It means that the expected value of a short, like the units of it, to me the units of EV are good because I have this strong. Well, one is macro is bad, but two is if you enter at 71, which we did on the times, and then you have your invalidation at 72 and a half, then in the case of you filling the wick, you've got a 1.5 hour setup, and you're in a downtrend. So it's like you're in a downtrend, positioning got unwound. Plus, like gold is making moves that make me very uncomfortable. When I see silver and gold going down 10% a day, I still have to think that there will be some type of correlation at some point, and that we will get crypto can reverse relative strength very easily. And I think to me, I'm probably just going to keep that set up. And we were operating this setup on the challenge today. I think we're actually quite close to all-time high on the challenge, which is good. And what this, like if we're able to go back to range highs, I think that'd be a very bullish news for the markets. And then you have to reassess on, like, if you go there and you effectively get stopped out, then what do you do? I think maybe there is a long to take. I wouldn't mind a long if markets showed its hands, and I think you just got good invalidation. And someone on Discord, I'm not sure who exactly, but said, why, I don't understand why you're short here. It's a function of positioning and units of EV. When your invalidation is so cleanly defined and markets going to, like, S&P is melting down, gold is melting down, then your invalidation is super clear, which makes for very easy risk management. And be honestly, not much to say. Some folks want to know why I'm keeping this hype short. And it's mainly because it's the first time hype got decorrelated to its revenue. And my thesis is that we're in a bear market, and so this means that volatility is going to decrease, which means that volume and open interest is going to decrease, which is already the case for hyperliquid. Which means that fees will decrease, and that then very boring chop starts, and then just hype is very reflective on the spectrum of assets. I feel so far I've been proven wrong, and that's okay. I love to have hype trade a bit lower, because realistically, hype at 40 billion FDV, what's your risk return? going to a new bull market, I don't like it. I would much rather own BTC than hype. And yeah, I want to make a case beyond this setup. I think this setup, if I want to be honest, I'm probably going to be running it. The setup I have more in mind is a setup. What I'm going to be running, maybe not for challenge, but on my personal book, is something like this. It's obviously the odds of this playing out are very small. And in practice, what you do is you would probably have your stops at least break even, so it's your free trade. On my personal book, I don't use stops. The reason for it is because I usually have too much size, as with the open interest on altcoins, but on Bitcoin specifically, when I get stops, I get so much slippage, and you can do basically can't do trailing stops or anything of the sort. Anything that's executed at the market, I get the worst execution ever. So I have to then that is only when you get a bit more advanced and your positions are a bit larger, but I basically can't do stops. So when I say stops break even, that's more of a mental framework, because I'll have to stop it myself and not go at the market. I think the reason for targeting lower here is, let's say we full retrace. If we go back to the fractal of, we say it was early March, right? Early March 2025. What happened on this SBR news is what seemed to be a very bullish news initially, which was the SBR announcement, so strategic Bitcoin reserve announcement. If you have a complete fade, usually the market seeks lower. Here, for example, when you had the SBR announcement, we went lower than at the announcement time. And that's usually what happens when you have big short liquidations. So to me, if we full reverse this, we go around here, 66 to 64, and then I'd be scaling down the position then. I think there is there are good reasons to be long at the moment. If macro wasn't as bad, I would obviously be very long. But when I see assets like gold's going down so much, I have to, if the largest asset is down, from the more recent high 20%, I think top to bottom 30%, and silver is obviously much worse. I have to be cognizant of the fact that this can also happen to crypto assets, and in fact, if I'm not wrong, the silver sell-off was a week before the big sell-off on BTC. And the 6th of Feb was pretty brutal for BTC, and I just don't look at the setups we had. It was actually right at the entry. Did not take the setup at the end, but yeah, there is a diverging here, but there's definitely a case to be long based on relative strength and what STLC is doing. We have a tool that's live that's telling you about the STLC momentum and how this translates into buy pressure on BTC. So where we are today is we are, let me check. we are mid-cycle, and in a week time, in terms of EV, it's the most EV to enter into longs, because then you can front run the whole snapshot, which is a week after. So ideally, if the market were to go in the low 60s, high 50s in the next week or so, you can't go. I'll have to cut exposure in a week from now, because I think just the SDLC thing is just too strong. And for sure this is going to get front run on the markets. People like T minus 3-4 days are going to say, hey, SDLC is going to buy, let us buy. And I think on the challenge we'll do a pretty aggressive long, maybe go over 3x delta around here. And any big wick down, you obviously want to have tight invalidation still because it's a bear market. But I think you can catch, with this SDLC thing, you can probably catch 10% move, also on the back of relative strength. So we're running this short setup, but that's only in the next few days, and my eyes are on this long. That's going to be led by SDLC and hopefully supported by some de-escalation, Middle East wise. But there is something that is not sitting right with me, especially when I see gold move like this so much, and you understand correlation across assets. There's something that is making me very uncomfortable. That it's more of an intuition, but I have a high, I think, probability of, it's always probability, I don't know. Obviously when I say, anything I say is about probabilities. And I think if it's higher than not, then I take up a trade. Anyway, I think I'm going a bit on the tangent here, but it's basically the setup and positioning. If I want to do a summary, is that we are short on both hype and BTC. Hype is more medium term. BTC, we believe that this move is a fade and that we will seek lower than the entry point of the initial counter trend rally, which was the mid range, and we're probably looking at 65, 64 next for BTC. After which we cover the short. Well, we cover the short either here, either on invalidation, which is 72.5, or whenever this lands here, and then we are flipping long. No, obviously not flipping long, just it needs to come with a reversal pattern, because the issue you have here is if you catch a long here, the market can quickly go down. You would much rather the market to show you some signs of reversal. If we are very bullish mid-time frame on the SDLC narrative, then I'm okay entering higher, eventually even on range breakout. But you want to wait for cleaner reversal pattern. For example, something of the sort where if you did not have potentially like here, what would have happened is we would have missed the whole leg up, but we would have probably entered on a pullback and then have your invalidation below the week, so that you miss part of the move, but at the same time you've got a cleaner invalidation. If you don't have, it's a bear market, so no invalidation on the long side, and you can get rinsed really hard. Like if gold went down 10% in a day, there's absolutely no reason to believe that BTC can't do it really quickly, and if not, even an order of magnitude higher. So hopefully that's clear. Obviously, everything I say is nuanced, but we're short, expecting lower, very short term, and then on the back of SDRC, I want to be long or chasing long opportunities in about a week from now, and hopefully, maybe it's going to be this weekend or end of the weekend or next Monday, and or maybe it's going to be even as early as this Thursday with good invalidation. It's good to see the challenge at all-time high or close to it. We'll try and keep it that way. Anyway, on this note, I have to go back to work, and I wish you all a great Saturday. And I think that was day 40. It's a good milestone.